6 months ago, I was hired on as a range safety officer at a gun range. And I learned more about gun proficiency and gun safety in those first 6 months than I had for my entire life of shooting. And my belief before working there was that every person has the right to defend themselves, even with a firearm. But after working there and seeing some pretty scary instances, my perspective surprisingly changed. And I was even more surprised to see that these experienced shooters were breaking safety rules that were the basics. And this kind of helped me change my beliefs. This one time, there was a shooter who was looking down the barrel of his own gun, seeing if it was loaded because it wasn't firing. And he was an Army veteran. And there was another time where a concealed carry permit holder pulled out his gun and flagged me because he was trying to show me a magazine that he had and he wanted to buy another one and see if we had it in stock. But in the process, he flagged me and he was a concealed carry permit holder. And these experiences that I saw of even quote unquote experienced shooters making these big mistakes led me to believe that all firearm owners should have a formal and regular training so that they can practice these safety rules, thereby minimizing any accidents, and also so that they can feel more proficient when firing their guns on the range and even in real life or death scenarios. And I feel like this applies especially to those who want a concealed carry permit. And it is my argument that all states and individuals concerning concealed carry should have a concealed carry license with the proper training so that they understand the laws and the rules and regulations concerning concealed carry, so that they have a regular training on safety, and also so that they can receive the benefits of reciprocity so that they can conceal carry in other states other than their own. When teaching concealed carry classes, each state is required to have a significant portion of their class focused just on the laws pertaining to that state gun regulation. And but other than that, some states vary in their training. For one example, in the state of Utah, where I got my concealed carry, we learned about the laws, and we learned about gun safety basics. We learned about different firearms. We learned a lot of just general knowledge, but we actually didn't learn or practice actual gun firing on the range. Now, this differs in the state of North Carolina, where in the state of North Carolina, you need to fire at least 40 rounds on a range in order to get your concealed carry license. And while I think this is better because it provides actual training, I still think that training needs to be ramped up and that there needs to be a standard that states should require. At the range that I work at, they actually provide an extra day of training. That goes above and beyond what the state of North Carolina requires. And how it looks like is that in the first day, they go over the laws, they go over gun safety basics, and then they will do a test to see how shooters and candidates recognize these laws so that they know when and where to use a concealed carry. While on the second day, what the range also provides is real life scenario practice, where they won't use an actual firearm, but they will use what's called a blue gun, which is modeled after a gun, but it doesn't move or fire in any way, shape, or form. But they go over in these practices scenarios that are common in actual scenarios where a concealed carry weapon was used. They go over them in a role-playing manner. And in addition to actually firing the gun on the range, they will also practice drawing from the holster And instructors will be right there to show shooters exactly what to do and how to do it so that they feel comfortable and proficient. And I believe this level of training should be required for those who want to conceal carry so that they not only practice and know what is safe, but they also can feel proficient and confident, because confidence is key in these kind of moments. And many customers have said that they feel so much more confident and ready because of this training, especially because it was above and beyond what the state of North Carolina required. And even though this kind of training can't always be verified with just a license, I still think that a license is a very good way and effective way of showing that this training was provided if that level of training is required by each state. Another thing that I feel like concealed carry licenses can do is provide safety educational regularly. One of the biggest criticisms toward constitutional carry, or the ability to carry within a state without a license, is that there never was a trainer, or there was no formal training, because it wasn't required. It's not required. And while age doesn't determine competency, a lot of these states will even let shooters under the age of 21 conceal carry, and there's no proof of training. And I think that this needs to be changed so that shooters or concealed carry permit holders can know what is safe and practice. And one example of where something like this could have been avoided happened in 2011 in Utah, where a school teacher in Salt Lake discharged her firearm accidentally in a bathroom, which sent shards of metal and toilet shrapnel into her leg and sent her to the hospital. And this is an example where proper training could have been avoided. Most states require that a renewal happens of a concealed carry license every 5 years. And this is great because they do not just require a portion of the Class B retaken, but the entire thing. And this is very effective so that every concealed carry holder has to learn and relearn any new laws that may come forth so they are up to date with their knowledge and with their training. Because the baseline of all of this is safety. That is the main goal. And safety can be achieved through knowledge and education. And again, like I last mentioned, just because someone has a license does not mean that they may be trained or that they may be safe, which is why I think states need to vamp up their training. But there is an advantage to having an actual physical copy of your license on your person at all times, because you can receive what is called reciprocity. And reciprocity in the context of concealed carry means that if you have a concealed carry license from one state, some states will allow you to conceal carry in their states because they share similar laws. Now, a list of which states share reciprocity can be found at usconcealedcarry.com for further reference. And I feel like having a concealed carry license is important if you want this. Whereas constitutional carry, you can conceal carry in that state. But if you, who live in a constitutional carry state, wanted to protect yourself further in a different state, you won't be able to because you don't have a license. Now, states like Utah and Texas that have constitutional carry can provide a license if desired so that that reciprocity can be received. And that's why I feel like states should require that, or at least individuals should get one so that they feel safe when traveling to other states. Because reciprocity is a huge advantage and benefit from having an actual physical copy. In conclusion, safety is paramount in any field concerning firearms, whether it's officer training, whether it's building your own firearm, or even hunting. Rules are provided so that safety can be established. Now, I know that the solution that I'm providing is not an end-all, be-all solution to all gun violence and all gun-related accidents. However, I do know that these if these extra trainings and licenses were applied to every state, that there would be more proficient shooters who would practice safety rules. Because one, the firearm safety basics are taught, and all the laws would be required to be taught so that anybody that had a concealed carry license would know these laws, and they would know when and where concealed carry would be legal. There would also be gun handling training that would be provided so that these shooters can be proven to be effective and safe. States should require licensing to reduce these accidents and to provide this form of gun proficiency, confidence, and safety.